far from convincing, wasn't it, from Pep Guardiola's side? But in the end, they would get all at 3 points. And once again, it would be a penalty that would prove to be the difference between the two sides. Raheem Sterling converting it to make it 100 Premier League goals for the England international. Let's go to the former City man first, shall we? Penalty, Nathan?
Do you know, to be honest, I didn't think it was. I think after he gave it, I thought, well, that's probably not going to be. Then we were looking at the videos, and I thought, I'm sure that's hit his side. I'm pretty sure that's hit his side, but the video assistant referee, I guess he deemed there wasn't enough conclusive evidence to change the decision. So at the end of the day, it's just one of those things where, you know, according to the procedure, you just have to give it. I think if maybe, for me, if the ref didn't give the penalty, I don't think the video referee is going to say, you know, you need to change that. But unfortunately, he just didn't have the right angle. But you know, in fairness, Sterling put it away, and it's funny because most people in the stadium were making noises like they thought he was going to miss. But you know, he stepped up and he did it. It was a bit of a contentious decision, but you know, this is football. Sometimes it was nowhere near City's best performance of the season, as is the case with Chelsea, and I'm sure we'll talk about with Liverpool to a certain extent. But the fact is, they got the 3 points, and at this time of the season, that is crucial.
And there was a sending off as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about the sending off in a moment, but first a penalty.
No, I don't think it was a penalty, and you know, it's not a penalty for putting your arm in the air. It's not. You're not allowed. You're not disbarred from putting your arm in the air.
Yeah.
And I think it was Moutinho. It looked clearly that I thought it hit his armpit when I first saw it. I actually think it was a little lower than that, as Nedum said. You could argue if you zoomed in on it, it probably hit his side high up. Might have just nicked a bit of the arm, but I mean, come on. So I think they had to. Honestly, I think when VAR looked at that, I know we'll get in the technicalities of it, but it's clear and obvious to me that, you know, it hasn't really hit his arm, and
right.
So I don't think it was.
But even if it just nicks his arm, Don, that's still a handball, isn't it?
Is it?
Well,
yeah,
no, it's not.
It's
not because it didn't hit his arm. It hit his ribs, and then it hit him on the sleeve. Yeah. The sleeve is deemed to be a penalty. It's got to be arm. So it was never a penalty in a million years. I've not seen anyone on social media. Dermot Gallagher today at the Premier League said he was left with nowhere to go because, in his opinion, it wasn't a penalty. So how John Moss got that wrong, and then VAR had a look at it, and they concurred with John Moss and thought penalty. It's not a penalty in a million years. No chance.
As Craig mentioned, preceding that, of course, Wolves down to 10 men. Jimenez sent off. What do you make of these decisions, Nathan?
Well, the sending off was interesting because just there were 2 yellow cards that were given to City players for a couple of incidents, and the crowd started to get on him. So as a consequence, I think the ref's given a yellow card to Jimenez there for that foul, but I barely think it was a foul, to be honest. But then that one there, that's ridiculous. You know, being on a yellow card, I think you can stand in front of the ball and have it kicked to you, and you could make a case that, you know, somebody's trying to infringe upon you. But when you stick your leg out, like, I don't get it. But like I said, I don't think the first one was a yellow card. Looking back at the moment, the referee, it felt like he was really caught up in the emotions of the game because City were feeling quite wronged. I think Rodri had just been booked and someone else had just been booked, and the fans were getting on him a little bit. So he gave a yellow card for the first one, and then he set himself up. And unfortunately, you know, for Jimenez, he's made a huge mistake there because there's no reason for him to do that.
Yeah.
It's fine. Stand in front of the ball. Don't stick your leg out to try and play for it, because that's an obvious second yellow card offence.
That's the thing. You can question that first yellow, but he's played enough games, and he's
the first yellow is ridiculous because any manager would expect their striker to work back and pressurise Rodri as he did, and as Nedum said, you could even argue if there was a foul in there, he had a little snipe at him, but there wasn't really much contact. But listen. You know, even a kid, even an 18-year-old coming into the game, making a debut or playing with inexperience, knows if he's just been booked, that you can't do that. As Nedum said, you can plant yourself in front of it, and as long as you don't move, if he kicks it off you, the referee will say, hey, allow him to get back 10 yards. But he's thrown a leg out. So that, you know, you can... Which then makes the first incident look worse.
Sure.
But if he'd used his brain, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
We can gripe about that decision from John Moss about the booking, which wasn't. But then once you've got that, that's where game management comes into it, and you say, right, OK, I don't agree with that, but I'm not going to make the situation worse by doing anything stupid, particularly away from home at Manchester City, by the way, where you can ill afford to go down.
Yes.
It's hard enough with 11 men playing there, never mind going down to 10. So no sympathy, because he should have known the scenario.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.